Hi there, Serial Trader here. Just want to check in on the major US indices. And since my last video, which I think was several weeks ago at this point, um, basically it's just been a bullish drift upwards. Of course, with little pullbacks along the way, but the overall trend has certainly remained intact to the upside. And I don't think we've hit a top yet or anything, but I think we're approaching a top of some magnitude. And I think it'll probably at least finish the move off the pre-election low. I think that was the October 2020 lows. I think it'll at least finish that sequence, and then kind of minimum expectation would be a proportional correction to that. So at least a multi-week corrective pattern once we finish this larger move, which we're just not quite there yet. But I think probably sometime in May, maybe into June, is when this will kind of form the top. But we'll just have to watch and observe the shorter term patterns to make that assessment. But yeah, just basing this, I'll just keep it real simple here. Just basing this off of the low we had over here at 37.23, which was on, I think that was the March low, 4th of March, yeah. Basis off of that, looks like we just got 1, 2. We have 3 in progress. I don't even think we're quite there yet in 3. And let me just do a fib projection for a common wave 3 target. Hang on there. Let me just get this snapped where I want it. Okay, so we haven't quite hit the 1.32 relationship between 1 and 3, although it looks like we're getting awful close there. That's right around 42.13. And next one would be the 1.618 if we can get past that. And that would take us up to 42.75. So that's quite a typical wave 3 relationship compared to the prior wave 1. And then whenever we make this wave 3 peak, be expecting some sort of wave 4 corrective move. Now, since wave 2 was a zigzag, just a simple ABC zigzag, maybe we'll get a flat or a triangle, something a little more sideways, a little more complex for the wave 4. And then we'll be looking for that move up in wave 5 to finish this impulsive sequence off of that March 4th low. And then I think that this, without getting into too much detail in this video, I've gone over it before, where I think we're at kind of in the larger pattern sequence. But I think this would complete possibly not only the 5-wave advance off of the March 4th low, but potentially the overall impulsive advance off the October low. But at the minimum, once you complete this 5-wave sequence, we will expect some sort of corrective behavior after that. But we're not done yet by the looks of it. So the very short-term pressure still, I think, remains to the upside. Okay, so that's really all I wanted to go through on SPX. Haven't been doing a whole lot of updates, but that's because there's really nothing of significance to present. I mean, just keep letting the impulse wave develop to the upside until it tells you it's over, right? And it certainly hasn't done that yet. Okay, I think there's some candlestick chart. So SPX Daily Candlesticks, I mean, that looks pretty bullish. Made an intraday new high, closed a little bit off the highs, but certainly relatively strong day on Friday. Looks like we're just kind of consolidating sideways a bit before moving higher. Well above the T-line. All the moving averages are pointing in the right direction, etc. So certainly nothing bearish looking there. Weekly candlestick, interesting. So possibly a weekly doji star, or maybe even a hanging man candle. So that's a potential, at least warning sign that, hey, maybe this weekly trend is getting a little stretched. But you know what? It could just be a pause, and we could still have higher to go, which I actually think is the case. But just pointing out the weekly candle looking a little toppy, if you will. Okay, that's SPX. Now we'll go over to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Similar situation here. Just looks like we're kind of drifting sideways on the Dow, consolidating before probably another move up. So not much to share other than that. The The Dow weekly candle, again, a potential kind of topping looking candle, but I wouldn't put too much weight on it until we actually start getting some downside movement. But just a little hint that maybe we're getting close, right, to making some sort of peak. Nasdaq composite, it's looking pretty good as well. Overall pattern on the Nasdaq, so we have this 3 waves down, that correction that finished over here in March, and we haven't been quite as bullish as the Dow and S&P, but it looks like we got a 1, 2, maybe a 3 in development, and this would be like the 1, 2, 3, 4, looking for 5 of 3, then another consolidation, then one more move up perhaps. Either that, or we got 3 down for A, 3 up for B, and we'll get a 5 down in C in a flat pattern, or maybe a triangle A, B, C, D, E, more sideways, before we finally get an up move. But looks like at least short term, there's some more upside potential here. But definitely a little relatively weaker than the other 2 indices on the Nasdaq here. Now on the weekly candle, we got another kind of warning hint, possibly a hanging man candlestick near the upper end of the trading range. So all 3 indices on the weekly look like they're getting a little tired, but that doesn't mean we can't still push a little higher before we finally get that correction, right? So certainly nothing immediately actionable here as far as a downside reversal or anything. Okay, VIX. So VIX is still very much in a downtrend, which is obviously broadly bullish for the indices. In fact, we just made significant new lows here on the VIX recently at 1538. Haven't been that low since prior to the crisis. Okay, and one more thing, the VIX tool. We do have a recent buy signal, so we had a divergence between VIX and VVIX. VIX made a slightly higher high. VVIX did not confirm, made a lower high. VVIX got below the red moving average. SPX got back above the blue moving average. So we are in at least a short-term buy signal on this tool. So I would suggest that we're just not quite done our overall move to the upside. Obviously, we're extended and getting mature in the move to the upside, but it just doesn't look quite finished yet. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll probably do another video on the overall market here once I think we're at or near the top, and I might suggest some ideas for trying to take advantage of a downside correction, but don't think we're quite there yet, so I'll leave that for another video. All right, Serial Trader signing off.